Yes, welcome back to the live stream. How's it going, guys? Let me get rid of this so I can actually see. Hey, chat's nice and busy, nice and early. That's what we like to see. Shout out to DJ Night Viper in early with the Tier 1 subscription for 15 months in a row. Thank you very much, my friend. Appreciate the support. I need to shave, don't I? Yeah, it's been a bit of a hectic week so far. Just got back from Decibel last weekend. That was awesome. First time I played Decibel, so yeah, you know I was excited about that one. And yeah, really cool to play back to back with Zani as well, true legend in the game. Shout out to Typewriter5 for the Tier 1 subscription again, 15 months in a row. Shout out to Trucker Ash, Tier 1 subscription, 14 months in a row. Really appreciate the support there, feeling the love tonight. So what have we got coming up on tonight's show? As you can see, the countdown timer there, as always, ticking away, letting you know that we now have 19 minutes before I get in the mix on them turntables behind me. If I look out the way a little bit, you can kind of see it. If you're looking on any other platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Mixer. I've got this Restream.io thing sending it over, so I'm sending it to lots of different platforms, but a lot of other platforms are kind of not as good with the copyright stuff, so if the audio cuts out in the mix or it gets cancelled or anything like that, that's the place to be. That's why I thought I'd pin it on the top of the screen and then you can see it. So yeah, twitch.tv/John Kutski if you lose the stream wherever else you may be viewing. Also, it's kind of nice if everyone's in the same place, isn't it? If you want to get involved in the chat, which you can see on the screen, keep pointing the wrong way because the camera's not mirrored. Shout out to Bob for the Twitch Prime subscription, 11 months in a row. Thank you. Let's give a shout out to everybody locked in the chat. Shout out to the Reaperweight, Speedy B. Speedy B asking if I'm multi-streaming again. I am. Remember last week it was really stuttery and really not great quality. I don't think that was down to the restreaming, because I looked at the end of it and it said that 8% of the frames had been dropped, so it was either a problem with my computer or a problem with my internet access last week. I think it was the internet access, to be honest. But fingers crossed we're all good this week. We'll give it another go. See if we can bring some more people over. If you come over from another platform, then let me know in the chat. Kind of, yeah, it'll be good. Sonic Sounds official asking who's Kurski, is he famous? Nah, just a guy, play records. That's all you need to do, internet famous. Sort of. Who else have we got in the chat? Shout out to DJ Delboy, second week in a row locked in from Benidorm, Spain. Shout out to Hardstyle Gaming, came over from Facebook and YouTube. It's the place to be, especially if you're into gaming, isn't it? Hardstyle and gaming, it's the place to be, isn't it? Over on Twitch. Shout out to Orange Juicer, Alan Jenkins. Who else have we got? Shout out to Robin Anderson, Curtis. Shout out to Call Me Nido from New York City. Big up. Hoping to be back in New York before the end of the year. Always love the parties out there. They're not the big, huge parties that you get on the West Coast, but they're really like underground parties in New York. I love them. Cool venues and stuff. So yeah, quick plug before we get into the mix. Again, the mix you can hear in the background is part of the Free Range Mix collection. Whoa, that's messing with the white balance. I won't do that again. So if you're interested in supporting the cause here on the stream, because I spend a lot of money buying stupid equipment and more cameras and stuff, as you can see, fancy microphones, blah, 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 all the rest of it. And that's kind of funded by a lot of the donations that you guys have been given with the subscriptions, and also with that mix collection where it's over 60 mixes, 20 minutes long each focusing on a different aspect of the hard dance scene. They were actually the mixes that I did on my BBC Radio 1 show some years back now. So they're the remastered, no talking over them, 60 plus 20 minute mixes, every different style from happy hardcore, hard trance or whatever, and that's the mix that we play at the beginning and the end of the stream when I'm just kind of talking before we get into the mix. So I'll post the link there in the chat so you can just click you through if you want to help support the cause. I appreciate that. I know many of you have done, and nobody's complained that they don't feel it's worth it. £15 for 60 mixes. So yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for considering it. What else have we got going? Sonic Sound Official asking if there's going to be a Kutski USB for sale. I've actually looked at doing this, you know. I have looked at doing it, but the problem is it's cost so much money to get them made that I've got even postage on the top of it. To break even, I'd have to sell them for about 20 quid. So kind of like, you know, to make anything out of it. And then the problem is it's like you're always going to get a few dud ones, you know, kind of that are broken or something. You can't get the money back from the company that pressed them up. I had that with the CDs that I did a while back. Get some knackered CDs and they don't do anything, like, you know, so then I've just got to take the hit on that. Sorry, I'm just moving my drink around if you're wondering. Still the coolest cup in the game. Cuphead and Dickhead. It's like a tag team, a trio. Yeah, I was thinking of getting the USB sticks done maybe for Christmas, maybe before Christmas, which is actually, as depressing as it sounds, is kind of catching up on us a little bit now. You know, when I'm planning out the year and I'm working out what I've got coming up, I'm like, if I'm going to do that, I kind of really need to get ordering them now. Speedy B, no Marmite rage this week, although I did find out an interesting fact about Marmite. Do you want to know an interesting Marmite fact or not? I was wondering if it's worth getting the jar or not. I don't think it's worth getting the jar. Maybe I can show you at the end of the stream. But basically, there's little flat bits on the edge of the jar, and I never knew what that was, and somebody tagged me in a post on Twitter that that's because when the jar's nearly empty, you put it on its side, and all the Marmite settles to the bottom, and you can scrape it out. And it's mind-blowing, because I just always thought it was some manufacturing reason why it was kind of, just flat on the sides or something. Shout out to Zisco Games, big hug from Spain. Who did our edit? Yeah, we played it at the start. If you noticed that edit at the beginning of the stream tonight, and it was kind of cut up with some visuals and effects and stuff. It was Zisco Games that did that for us. So yeah, appreciate that, man. Thank you. Call me Nido asking if I stream games. I do sometimes. But at the moment I'm playing Fire Emblem and I'm really bad at it, but I really like it, so it's kind of, I don't think anybody really wants me to stream that, do they? I don't know, maybe we can. There was one game that I was looking at, I was thinking of getting, if we, maybe if we make enough on the sales of the things, maybe I'll buy it and I'll stream it tomorrow night. There was a game where, like, it was some Japanese game that was only released in Japan. It was made by the people that made Dark Souls, but they made a mech game. It was on the Xbox original and the PlayStation 2 back in the day, never released in the West, where you play as the President of the United States that comes under attack, and he bursts out the side of the White House in a big mech and starts shooting everybody up. And I was playing it when I was in the UK. My dad had it, he bought it when it came out, and yeah, I thought that that'd be fun to play on stream. Not because it's a real game that I want to play or anything. I was like, because it's just so ridiculous. I was just sitting there laughing my head off playing it for like half an hour. So, Tom Arnold asking if I've got the YouTube chat open as well. I haven't, to be honest, because I don't really get the same reach on YouTube as I do on Twitch, and I've only got one phone in my hand, so I don't want to confuse matters. Maybe I could have more screens with all the different chats going on. But if you want to talk amongst yourselves on any other platform, then please feel free to do so. But if you want a shout or anything like that, maybe check out Twitch or something. Yeah, it's one of them things, the repoint saying Trump in a mech could be scary. Yeah, I think that's kind of like, when they'd made something really ridiculous, whereas now you could kind of possibly see that happening. I mean, if somebody did try and attack Donald Trump in the White House, it wouldn't be out of the question that he could attack back in a mech. Now, I don't think that that's unreasonable with what's going on in the world. Night Viper saying there's an app that pulls in all the chat from other streams as well. Is there really? This is something I need to look into then, isn't it? Wannock asking if I'd ever consider throwing people a curveball and doing something like a speed garage or a 4/4 baseline mix for these sessions. I would, to be honest. I've got like a bunch of garage, but not tons of it. Probably I've got enough to probably cover 2 hours if I played everything. A lot of the stuff that I bought back in the day. This is on vinyl because I did kind of get into it. Remember around the time when it was like Decline and Oxide and Neutrino and all of those guys and Basslick and all that sort of stuff, because it reminded me of the really early old school stuff, and it was very bass heavy. It was somewhere between old school and drum and bass, and I really liked that, which I guess is why I like trap and dubstep now, because that's still on that tip. I've got some curveballs for you in the mix tonight, because like I said, I get sent a lot of different music off different stuff, so I'm just going to play a lot of the promos that I want to listen to. And there were some bassy ones that I got sent through. I'm not going to go full on dubstep on you, but there was some kind of borderline trappy dubsteppy tracks on there, which I'm going to drop in the mix. Tom Arnold saying that on the Restream site you can see all the chat together. That's something that I need to do then. Have they got an app? Restream. Chaos Raver saying dubstep, you should be in Deadpool. But yeah, there's a lot of good music around at the moment. normally it's like at the back end of the festival seasons when you kind of run out of good new music from people, because everyone writes loads of good tunes before festival season and they're all busy at festival season. By the end of it, they haven't had time to be in the studio, so if they've got anything beforehand, they've sent it out earlier on, or like, you know, and then so you don't get anything until like, you know, kind of autumn. It's not that you don't get anything, but, you know, kind of like not really anything super cool or exciting, but it's kind of broke the rule this year. There's just loads of constant stuff. The Reapwait's asking what the fuck is dubstep. It's a style of dance music that's like heavily influenced by Gabba, like 250 BPM plus. Honestly, you should just, you know, go online now and just buy all the latest dubstep collections, because you'll love it, man. You'll get well into it. Shout out to AJ Raver. Zisco Games saying, chat, calm down, you don't know the war between YouTube and Twitch platforms. YouTube limits and blocks content. Which is very true. That's the problem, that's why I don't do it, because they always like pull it down. Like, I even had like, I mean, this is how ridiculous the whole thing is, just to pull the veil back, a bit of inside baseball for you, where it's like, you know, I've said this before, that people send me the tracks because they're like, hey, can you play them on the radios and the streams that you do so that we can get some exposure for our music? So I play them on the show, and then they go, you're playing other people's copyrighted music. Strike. Right, that's bullshit. But I kind of get it, because they don't know that I've been sent and been given permission. You know, I could be anyone, couldn't I? I get that, right? They ban me for my own music. I get emails all the time going, hi Kutski, we've given a copyright strike against your channel because you've uploaded a track by Kutski. And it's like, you know, is there absolutely no sense going on with it? And then it's even got to the point that I've kicked off with them and they've said, hey, we're just enforcing the rules. It's like, contact the copyright holder, which is technically the record label, which is the record label I'm assigned to. And I've asked my record label to whitelist my channel, and they even said, well, technically you're going to get some of that money back again, because all the money's going to go to the label, then I get a little sliver of that money. And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, come on. So I spend all this time making vlogs and after movies. I use my own music in it, and all the music goes to the record label, and I end up with like 10% on it minus tax. So yeah, and there's just no justification for that. So kind of, yeah, that's why I've moved like most of my stuff that I'm doing over to Twitch, ideally, because they mute things afterwards. If the copyright holder says, I don't want this music ever online, then on the when you re-watch it again, that track will be muted, which is fair enough. But they don't pull your live stream down. On Facebook, they pull the live stream down. Which is why I'm not bothering getting the premium IO thing, because most times, every time I've recorded the stream, try and repost it on Facebook live later on in the week, you know, get about 20 minutes into it and it gets pulled down and they say, hey, stop playing copyright music on your channel. And it's like, it's my music, please leave me alone. So the only consistency seems to be Twitch and iTunes podcast. But iTunes are clever with that, because on the iTunes podcast you could say, well, isn't it a copyright violation on there? They only have the feeds are only stored on iTunes. The actual downloads come from my server, so they're not liable for that at all. So that's why we don't get any problems with that. So yeah, it's all one big mess that we keep continuing to battle our way through and navigate our way through. But yeah, appreciate the support as always. You're back here again, so keep it moving, innit? 5.5 minutes to go before we jump into the mix. Yeah, just new promo tracks that I got sent through. And the first track that I've got in the mix for you is just a demo version, the first playable demo version of my new collab with Kit Hype, which everybody's been buzzing off. Not the finished product, but we both played it at Decibel last weekend, so we're kind of just testing it out on the stream tonight. So a little demo version. I think it's fun. Play work in progress things, and I thought it'd be fun to do a show, because I've got all these, like, you know, versions of my old tracks and stuff that's like really, like, you know, like demo versions of it that change so much, but you can still hear it's the same track, but they're just, the melody changed, or weird things changed, or the kick completely changed, or, you know, just strange things happen by the time the track's finished. And I thought it'd be fun to play the tracks and then play all the early demo versions of it as well, so you could hear them. Backing out the classics in the background now. This is part of that mix collection, by the way. I said I wasn't going to point, did I? Because it messes with the focus and the white balance. Can't help it. Del Boy asking if I can't do a stream from the Keeping the Rave Alive page. The problem with that, I mean, I don't even know if there is a way to do it. You'd need a platform that allows you to do it like this, like, you know, an embedded YouTube video or something like that. Like, you can't just stream into the ether and it just appear on the website. You need a service to do it. But yeah, the main problem with that is visibility. Is, you know, I could say, hey, go over there. People don't. They tend to go like, you know, that's the problem with Twitch. It's like the numbers that I do on Twitch versus the numbers that I do on Facebook. I do way bigger numbers on Facebook because it's like I've got 100,000 people on there. It's a big platform where most people into hard dance are. But Twitch is the best platform for me to be on. So I just need to kind of like each week, I just need to grab a couple more people from Facebook and be like, please come over and check out Twitch. And then everyone that does goes, that was really cool. And then they'll just download the app, they get a notification when I go on live. And then, you know, if they're about, then they can watch the show. I'm like, wow, this is dead good. Like, you'll see, it's like at the moment, it's like, you know, we've not got great, you know, crazy numbers in the chat. But when I go, once we get into the mix, I'll press the button and send the link out to all the other social media platforms. And all of a sudden, like, you know, like with the link taking you to the Twitch channel, then you'll see the numbers spike up because I still need to drag people over from Facebook to watch it, which is a shame. And then Facebook, because they don't want people leaving Facebook to go to Twitch, as soon as you put a Twitch URL in your posts, tiny reach. This is what we're battling against, people. Battling against the machine, but we're winning. And I'm bigging up Twitch and I'm doing all this stuff for them, and it still won't make me a partner, even though I meet the criteria. And I can't even get a reply. It just sits there in the ether for a while, and then it just resets to letting me apply again. Don't get a no, but I don't get a yes either. Shout out to Laura saying that she only came over today because of the Twitch notification. It works, the whole Twitch platform works, but the problem is most people kind of don't know what it is. I shouldn't really be throwing too much shade, but you tend to find like the average Facebook user, all they know is Facebook. Like, they think Facebook is the internet these days, whereas I think most people, probably certainly everybody that's on Twitch, has probably either bailed Facebook or don't use it nearly as much as they used to use it. So yeah, so the problem is trying to get people over from there to kind of like download the new app and sign up for it if there's only one thing going on. That's why it'd be great if more and more DJs started doing it. I know it'd be more competition for me, but if people have already got the phone and an account on there, they can just hit subscribe and check out the show when it's on air, can't they? So, but I don't think as many people are as enthusiastic as me about doing random shit that kind of doesn't really have any benefit. If we're honest, I just enjoy doing it. It's just fun. Yeah, it's mad. Sometimes I notice the Facebook numbers on my fan page have dropped. I get really worried. I'm like, wow, what did I post that lost me all the people? Go and have a look at the stats, and there's new people that have signed up to the page, but there's even more people that have left or deactivated their accounts. So people are deactivating Facebook accounts faster than I can get new fans in sometimes. It's crazy. Anyway, yeah, another quick plug. I'll post it in the chat now if you want to help support the cause of what I'm doing. Now, I've told you my sob story about my graft and my effort. If you want to pick up the free range mix collection, 60 plus mixes for £14.99, 20-minute MP3s that you can whack on your phone and have basically unlimited music across all different styles of hard dance music. The link is just posted in the chat now if you want to grab that. I'm about to jump into the mix, and this week it's going to be basically all the new promos that have been sent through ahead of Creamfields this weekend, which you can see up there. Yeah, I'm playing on Sunday. We're hosting a Keeping the Rave Alive arena. We've got a crazy big lineup for that one. It's going to be huge. So as always, I'll jump in the mix now. I'll be back in like, we'll mix for like, I don't know, about an hour and a half, something like that. Then I'll jump on and we'll have another wrap up at the end. So yeah, brand new styles, everything right through, hard dance, dubstep, hardcore, gabba, terror, everything. We're just going to throw it all in the mix now for the next hour and a half. Brand new exclusive promos. It's Kutski in the mix. Let's do it.
let's start. Let's make this shit jump. Toss some midgets in the air, bring those bitches on. We going there, we going there. Acting retarded and drinking gin. She got a bad ass, I wanna tap that. It's looking at me, I'm looking right back. She got it, she got it, she got it, she got it. I'm looking right back.
I'm a hunter, it's in my blood. You're taking me over, it's in my bones. You fire my blood now, I'm not alone. In my kingdom, I was king. We could climb a mountain higher. Running like the fastest lion. Take me now, maybe your desire. We gon' take it to the higher. Light it up, we gon' burn
merge as one in darkness and separate in light. Me and my shadow are moving side by side. As one in darkness and separate in light. Me and my shadow are moving side by side. Destination. A beam so bright. We get there when I'm sleeping. Every single night.
I'm surrounded by laser beams.
to the beat. I said rock to the rhythm, rock to the rhythm, rock to the rhythm, rock to the beat. I said rock to the rhythm, rock to the rhythm, rock. Now stop the rhythm, go.
I'd like to return to the classic.
deep end. Back off, and let me lose my mind. Back off. What? Bringing me down to the deep end. Back off, and let me lose my mind. Back off.
stuff. Ghosts. Ghosts and stuff.
Alright, y'all, 1 2 1 2 2 2 2 2 2. Yo, this is what I love and can't stop loving. Get wasted at parties from 9 till 7 in the morning. I live for the music, rolling blunts, feeling high, getting loaded, or take some pills and go to La La Land. Spending all my money on dope and extreme high price tickets, but in the end it's all worth it. I like to live in my own world. Fuck regular life, fuck a 9 to 5 job. I'm told to enjoy every moment, every hour, every minute. That's what I do on Fridays and Saturdays. Why should I take life so seriously? I just want to do what I like to do, be it far from reality, cause I can't stand society. It's my own world. I just want to hear the music. I think the whole system fucking sucks. Everybody's working their fucking ass off during the week, getting totally fucking stressed out. So what's wrong and what's right? I live for the weekend. I live for hard styles. I live for hard style, baby. Come on, let's go. That's what we fuck, man.
Lost a couple of pieces when
I carried it, carried it, carried it home. I'm afraid of all I am. My mind feels like a foreign land. Silence ringing inside my head. Please carry me, carry me, carry me home. I've spent all of the love I saved. We were always a losing game. Small town boy in a big arcade. I got addicted to a losing game. How many pennies in the slot? Giving us up didn't take a lot. I saw the end for it begun. Still I carried on, carried on, carried on. Loving you is a losing game. Cause we're living a dream for the night. We're in motion till we wake. If I go under, you keep me alive. Now it's time to give and take. I want you keep me breathing, breathing, breathing till the end. Now I need this feeling more than I need oxygen. I want you keep me breathing, breathing, breathing till the end. Now I need this feeling more than I need oxygen.
really get shot.
One, two. With the click calls, you get to know clicking I am the one. You cannot fix me. Sentence me to death. Set me free. I will not ask for mercy. I'm guilty of my crime. Put me in the electric chair. Burn my mind. Wicked, 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 wicked.
Will you see it? Our Lord tearing his truth into the unbelievers. The only way out of this place is the truth. Accept the gospel, and all doors will open before you. The motherfucking hardcore. Motherfucking hardcore. The only way out of this place is the truth. Accept the gospel, and all doors will open before you. The motherfucking hardcore. Will you see it? Our Lord tearing his truth into the unbelievers. The only way out of this place is the truth. Accept the gospel, and all doors will open before you. The motherfucking hardcore.
Worse than me, there's none. I'll only smile when you pass the fire.
Quicker than I knew that it's been pushed to the brink. Do you blink? Does your heart shrink? Freeze? Do you think? Or do you let your dark side reign? Despicable self out. Do anything till you take them out. Wanna find out about what happens when you push me. Slaughter everything you love till you curse me. Worse than me, none but eyes inside. This side only smiles when you're back to die. Despicable! Worse than me, there's none. Back to die, 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 back to
Woo! Yes, hard beats in the mix. I told you there's a lot of good new stuff out at the moment, isn't there? I saw Speedy B in the chat then saying 240 BPM. I'm sure I've got something like that, but I'm not really into that crazy fast stuff like that. For me, it's like 200 to 220. I think 200 is the sweet spot for me for fastness. But yeah, maybe we can go extreme one week. DJ Del Boy been banned from his hotel Wi-Fi for streaming the show. Shout out to Nicholas, enjoying the tunage tonight. You're welcome. Shout out to Plur Wilshire. Yeah, 200. I think 200 is the sweet spot. But there again, is what was that Deadly Guns track? I'm loving that one. That Unbelievers, is it, or something? The one near the end. It's got the melody from Castlevania on it. That's like 210, isn't it? So it's super energetic. It's mad listening to old school bouncy techno now, and it sounds really slow, doesn't it? It's almost like you're listening to house music after hardcore. And this stuff used to be like super fast. Del Boy's back with sound only. That's okay, you don't need to see my pretty face. You're not missing out on too much there, Chief, as long as you can hear the beats. Yeah, so thanks for everybody who subscribed during the show. Did see the notifications popping up a little bit. And as always, if you want to support the show, I'll post the link again. I think a lot of you have picked this up already, but if not, it's a bargain, if I may say so myself. 60 plus of my mixes from back in the day in one big, nice bundle for you, covering everything. All these ones that are at the beginning and the end of the show, they're all part of this collection. You can get without me talking over the top of it. OG Thumbs asking what the Decibel track was earlier. That was edit that Kit Hype did just for Decibel. But yeah, he sent it over to me so I could play it in my set as well, which I ended up not doing because I was playing on a different stage on a different day, and I'm always worried with all them like decibel anthems. I don't know who made it, so the DJ that made it could have ended up playing it, like, you know, it could be their track, like they want to play in a couple of sets time, and then people get really shitty, like DJs get really shitty about playing other people's music and stuff, and so it's, yeah, I was a bit sketchy with it. I was playing back to back with Zani, and I did ask him, and I said, is this by anybody that will be upset that I play it because they're playing later? And he looked at it and he went, no, you should be fine. And I was like, should. So I wanted to play it tonight. Spurry saying for future stream maybe we should do all the hardest records. That'd be a good one, that wouldn't it? Imagine if we did like, because obviously it's like, how long have we done, like we're up to episode, I don't know, 370 something now at the moment, aren't we? We do a 370 track mix full of just the hardest records starting at episode 1. The problem is the BPMs are so varied, aren't they? That'd be a huge project, wouldn't it? Well, there are albums. Go out and check the hardest record in the world albums. They're kind of like the collection of the best hardest records. Night Vibe, yeah, I know the whole point of being a DJ is to play other people's music, but it's surprising how much other people get really shitty about it. It never used to be back in the day. It was just kind of, I don't know, I think it's different in Holland than it is in the UK. Because in the UK it was just uncourteous. Like if someone played your tune before you went on, you kind of went, oh, really? Cheers for that. You know, and then you smile and go on. You wouldn't say anything about it. Whereas I've seen some serious kick-offs going on, like abroad, when people play people's music and it's like, oh shit, was that big a deal? I mean, I've done it once. When did I do it? No, I've done it twice. I did it once before Tommy Knocker was on, because they moved the set times where they moved me later in the night and Tommy Knocker was supposed to be on earlier. What I didn't realise is they'd moved Tommy Knocker until he was on after me. And then I started playing some tunes. Like, hey, what are you doing, man? I'm on after you. And I was like, well, fuck, man, I didn't know. So I just literally just stopped the track and just played something else. I was like, fuck it, I'm not going to get in an argument about it. And then, then I messaged him after. I was like, yo, bro, I was like, I'm not stupid, man. I wasn't going to play your track before you. And then he was like, oh yeah, no, it's cool, man, it's cool. Yeah, I just wanted to let you know so you can play it and stuff. And I'm like, well, it's not the end of the world, is it? But you know, like I'm never that offended when I do it. Another time that I did it, I played a track at an old school event by an artist that was playing later in the night that wrote the track that I played under a different name, and I didn't know he played it under a different name. And they're kind of like, this is again, it was abroad, and they kind of joked and they went, oh yeah, you wouldn't know because you're not from here. You know, kind of making a point out of it, and I'm like, really? It's like, guess what, right? Release it under your one name and play under that one name, and then I'll know not to play your music. Well, yeah, that's the only two times that I've done it. But I've had it loads of times before me where people have played my music before me. I'm not that bothered, more flattered, to be honest. The funniest one that I've ever seen is I seen somebody going sick backstage because the DJ that was on played something from the same record label that they were signed to. And I'm not going to name the artist because that artist also doesn't write their own music. So I was a bit like, I'm a little bit rich here, fella. Might want to wind your neck in a little bit. I should write a book when I retire. I don't need to worry about pissing people off. I'll write a book. But it's the same as like, you know, in the UK, sampling people's shit was fine, but in Holland you can't sample people's stuff. You sample somebody's kick drum, it's the end of your career. The end of your career. Like, do you remember when a while back Plutonium Boy sampled Zatox kick in the track, and I don't even think Zatox was that bothered about it, but just the whole scene flamed him and everyone was kicking off. It was this big, you know, huge end of the world thing. It's like, I guess. And then when I speak to people, it's like I've told the story before. When I was joking with Gecko, and I only say it because it's like I love Gecko to bits and we were kind of having a bit of banter and joking about it, and I was like, when did it become such a cardinal sin? He was like, you can't sample the kick drum. I was like, yeah, but why not? I was like, you sample everything else. It's like, you'll sample rap samples from Flavor Flav, and that's okay, but you can't touch anyone's kick drum. And he was like, yeah, it's okay to sample as long as it's not from the same scene that you're in. And I'm like, where's all this written? Is there like some book of ethics in dance music sampling? It's like we're all a bunch of cowboys and our tool is a sampler, and it's like, rob shit. Like, I don't steal people's kick drums because it's like, 'cause I don't want to get into trouble. Luckily there's sample packs now, so I'll splice a couple of samples together from sample packs and no one can get shitty about it. But it's like, my first thought is, that's a cool kick drum, I'll sample it. No ethical problem with that, but it's just because I know the backlash that you get on the scene for it. Billy Bunter does all these publishing books for artists, doesn't he? So yeah, maybe when I get a little bit greyer or a few less hairs on the top, it's like I'll crack open the pen and get me bic out and start writing the autobiography. What was this? Can't remember now. Me and Joey Riot, we always joke about it, because whenever we get in the studio together, we literally waste more than half a day just joking about stuff like that. Like, what did Joey post the other day? I can't believe he posted it, but I was like creased up laughing. I just sent him a message straight away, because we always joke about it. It's like, he was like, he posted, what country do you want to see me play in next? What's my favourite track that I played at the weekend? And then he posted something like, get some fucking personality on it. And I was like, oh man, every time I see that, like, that generic post, like, which country do you want to see me play next? And it's like, nothing more interesting than that to say no. What's my favourite? What's your favourite track of mine that I've produced? That most of them don't produce. Funny. But yeah, it's like me and Joey always joke about that and say that's the one thing. It's like they're the sort of things that you want to say but you can't say. And then Joey just went through a list of all the generic posts that you see everybody make. And and then he just like posted them and was like taking the piss out of it. I was creased up with that. That's why I like this, because this is our own little dark corner of the internet where we can have a little bit more banter. People don't get too offended. So Creamfields this weekend, big lineup. I've been so busy with different stuff, I've hardly been paying any attention to what's going on with everything. But yeah, super big lineup on that one. Check it out on Creamfields. We've got the Keeping the Rave Alive Arena on Sunday. Who've we got? Me, Crystal Mad, Kuhn, Joey, Darren Styles, MKN again, I think, on one show or another show we've got coming up. Speedy B, yes, that timer on the side of the screen is the end of the world. It's when I get censored. I feel like that guy, who's that guy, Alex, the crazy guy that talks about conspiracy theories and they banned his podcast and he's banned off Twitter or something. Alex Jones, yes, you're right, the Stealth DJ. Stealth DJ, I really struggle to see your name. It's black on black. You can see it there. See where Alex Jones is? Your name's next to that. Bad choice of colours, my friend, for your username. Do you even choose, or is it just default on mine? Watts P1 asking when I'm next up in Glasgow. I was just up in Glasgow a couple of weeks back for Colours Fest, so I'll probably be back hopefully before the end of the year, around November or something usually. Oh, touche, Stealth. I see what you did there. I see what you did there, my friend. Very smart. Nothing's booked in yet for Glasgow, so I don't know yet. But usually we try and do Glasgow 3 times a year. Do it once early on, once in the summer, and then once towards the end of the year. But some big dates up in Scotland coming up. Steve asking if I'll be involved in the next HCID CD. I doubt it, to be honest, my friend, because obviously that's like owned by a brand, and they'll use their artists on that CD. But maybe they'll license something if they want something. If they want any of my tracks to use on it, of course they can. So yeah, but that's not on me. I do my Keeping the Rave Alive stuff. So yeah, they'll be doing that one in house, no doubt. Don't think Hixie's involved in the HTID stuff anymore, Chaos Raver. There's a guy called Pete in Australia that runs the big HSU events out there, and I think he's bought the brand now, and he's the one running the events. Speedy B asking which mix it is in the background now. This is the Free Range Bouncy Techno mix, which if you don't own already you can pick up as part of the collection down there. Boom. Shout out to Alex Brown, AB in the house. What's happening, Chief? Plur Wilshire asking, what about a Kutski HTID tribute mix? Or yeah, I don't want to tread on their toes, because if they're releasing albums and stuff, I don't want to go and put up a free mixtape full of all their stuff and then put it up for free, and then obviously no one's going to want to buy the album if they can get in it there. So yeah, I don't want to tread on their toes too much with that if they're putting CDs out at the moment. But yeah, I mean obviously we play a bunch of old HTID and Raver Baby stuff in the mixes, don't we? That's another thing I got told off for once, is I made a promo CD and sent a promo CD out, and I put a bunch of tracks on it that people sent over for promo, and then one of them particular kicked off. He was going, dude, you got to take it back, man, no one's going to buy the track if it's on your CD that you gave away for free. And I'm like, well, I guess you've got a point, but why did you send me the track if you didn't want me to put it on my promotional material? So yeah, you live and learn. Spurry asking if there's any KTRA CDs coming out. To be honest, mate, there isn't, because it's just not really worth doing them anymore, the compilations. Like, we looked at doing them just because like people don't buy CDs anymore, and it costs so much money to get them pressed up. You have to get all the design, the graphics done and all of that. So we looked at doing just digital bundles as well, but we can't really get the record labels to play ball anymore. Like, obviously we're good friends with a lot of them and stuff, but yeah, it's like contact them and they want 100% of the money from it. So if you think about it, if we license, because they're saying, well, if people listen to it on, the way that it works, you get like a revenue split. So we used to do 70-30. So like if it got played on Spotify on my album, the record label would get the 70% of it, and then our record label would get, the Keeping the Rave Alive label would get the 30% of it because people have listened to our album. And then now they turn around going, well, we want 100% of it, because if people are listening to your version of it at your album, we're only getting 70. If they listen to it on ours, we'll get 100% of it. So if we want it on your album, if you want it on your album, you've just got to give us all the money. And then if we do that for every track, we've got to go to the effort of mixing the album, putting it all together, getting the artwork done, putting it all up online, all that man hours that we've got to pay somebody to do, put it all up online, and we can't make any money out of it whatsoever. So it's just easier to just not do it now, to be honest. So the scene, yeah, I mean, maybe the scene doesn't need it anymore. Maybe that's, I mean, now when you look at it, it's like, we used to be able to do compilation CDs and physical mixtapes that we give out. Well, now there's Mixcloud mixtapes, SoundCloud mixes, podcasts, live streams like this. So maybe they're just outdated now. Trucker Ash saying greedy bastards. Yeah, I mean, I understand where they're coming from with it, because they're looking at it under the assumption that if somebody searches for a track on their label and my album comes up top, they're going to click on that, and I'm taking 30% out of their track. So that's their perspective on it. But my view is, that people that like Keeping the Rave Alive might not know that your tracks exist or all them tracks exist. This is going to give you exposure of it, and we're taking the 30% for the time that it takes to put it up online, if that makes any sense. But yeah, as soon as and then the problem is like, you know, it isn't all the record labels, by the way. There is still a bunch of labels that are really easy to work with and really good, but then you just end up working with like a very small pool of labels, and if I can't use all the music that I want and it's really narrow, whereas the irony of it being that makes me think is why you're being so difficult on it is because that's to put a legit album up on Spotify that they'll make money out of and will make a little bit of money out of, or I can do the mix where I can use whatever I want. I don't license anything, nobody gets any money, and I can put it up on Mixcloud, and that's completely legal and legit, and nobody gets any money out of it then. So we may as well do it on Spotify, but you know, there's such little money in making music anyway. I just liked doing the albums, but yeah, they just don't add up anymore. So, but these little collections and stuff like that is what we can do going forward. Yeah, Chaos Raver saying got introduced to a lot of DJs and artists through Keeping the Rave Alive. That's the idea of the show. The irony being is it's like everybody still wants, like, you know, hey, can we get our artist on the podcast, because they want the exposure of being on the show, but then they don't want to play ball, you know, when it comes to all the things that we're trying to do it. So yeah, whatever. Basically, yeah. Now that's me having a little rant and explaining to you why there aren't any more albums upcoming. And then we did try and do it with the, like Sam obviously signed to Foolish at the moment, the record label. So I said, give me your entire back catalogue, and then I'll do a mixtape with that, and we'll put that up online. And again, that took me bloody ages to do, and all the money goes to the record label. None of it went to me. So I spent ages putting together the mix, put it up online, did, you know, good numbers, and then obviously the label take it. But it's kind of, you know, again, I could do that and put it on my Mixcloud and play anything I want. We're going to outrun the timer and let this mix play out. I don't know what half these tracks are. I own them. I've got them somewhere. Obviously because I made the mixes, but you know when you recognise them, but you can't. I couldn't tell you what it is, because this is that original hardcore gangster. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with it. It's like everybody's taking so many slices of the pie. I mean, when you work it out, if I write a track and I sign it to the record label, the standard deal in the scene is a 50-50 artist label split, which means that you know, kind of that they'll take, like, so say it makes £100 the track, or like, let's be generous and say the track makes £300 in streaming. And then that's £150 for me, £150 for the label. But the problem is, the label do the artwork first, and say the artwork costs £70, that gets deducted from it. So the 300 minus 70 minus the time. So then it'll work out that there was only like £100 left in the pot. That gets split 50-50, like, you know, and then you have to get over the threshold, which is usually about €100 before you can even claim for the money that's in the pot. But the thing is, even with that £300, then that's the record label have a deal with Spotify, which is usually like 50% Spotify, 50% the record label or something like that, which means that I'm only looking down the barrel of 25% then, and God forbid that was a collaboration between me and someone else that are going 50-50, which brings it down to 12%, and then on that 12% that you earn, you have to pay tax. So there's not a lot left over in the pot. That's why, like, I'm just more interested in doing stuff like this. You know, it's the exposure for me. You know, because there's no money in music. There's no point trying to do that anymore. Like, literally, the only reason why I release music legitimately is exposure. Because if it's not on the Beatport chart, or if it's not on Spotify, then people aren't as likely, you know, like on SoundCloud, you've got to be following me on SoundCloud before you're going to see that I've put a new upload up. So I can put a new track up for free, but I'm only giving it to the fans that I've already got. There's no reach, there's no further reach. Yet if I release a track and it comes out on Beatport, people see it in the Beatport chart and they go, I like that guy, follow him on Facebook, they'll see my post on Twitter, which brings people over to Twitch, and it's all one thing like that. So to be honest, it's like, that's why I always joke about not really caring that much about piracy. Like, you know, say get it from wherever you get all your usual music, be it iTunes, Spotify, Beatport, or Zippy Shares. I don't give a fuck, man. So I don't see a penny one of anything anyway. So yeah, or I haven't since I've been signed. So, yeah, such is the world of music. Right, so I'm going to bail out of here now. Thanks for joining me on the live stream again. Who have we got on this week's show? I can't say because they haven't delivered the mix yet, but they promised me they're going to deliver the mix tomorrow. And it's a really cool guest mix of an artist that you know, a new project from that artist that you know, and it's Hard Beats. And I played some tracks by them before. Shh. I think you know who it is. You can probably have a good guess. Thanks for joining me on the stream. Thanks for all the subscriptions, all of that good business. I might not be on next Tuesday because I'm in the UK and my flight back is that bloody Tuesday 7 p.m. flight when I'm supposed to be live on Twitch, but we'll try and do something a little bit later in the week anyway. Stay tuned on all the socials and I will let you know when I'm going to do the stream. Thanks for joining me. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. See loads of you at Creamfields. If not, I'll catch you back on the show next week. Peace out.